Hello and welcome to Fatima Television. I'm John Vennari, editor of Catholic Family News, and we are here in Rome right now for the Synod. Not that we are participating in the Synod, but we're here to watch it, to comment on it, and this is our first commentary from Rome. I want to open starting with what's called the Instrumentum Laboris. Now, it sounds like a fancy name. It just means working document. And this is the working document that the fathers are using. The entire synod is being based on this working document, Instrumentum Laboris, which was released in June 2015, and has been a source of tremendous controversy. And I'll open with a little story, and that is that I went down to the Steubenville University on September 8th to see a lecture by Cardinal Burke, who had been head of the Roman Rota, and he gave a talk about the true teaching and practice regarding Catholic annulments, because as part of the Synod is they wanted to update and streamline the annulment process, which was a ruling that came down actually the same day that Cardinal Burke spoke, and we won't talk about that right now. But at the end of Cardinal Burke's talk, there was a distinguished panel with him there at Steubenville of theologians and professors, and I asked a question, and I was not trying to be a wise guy, I just asked a question. I told them, I said, I read the entire Instrumentum Laboris, the working document, and what I found was it doesn't really have the standard Catholic organization and structure, and there also seems to be a lack of the supernatural, and that the document itself is very wordy, tons of verbiage. And so I asked the panel, is there any way that in the future, why are they written this way? And is there any way that in the future they could be written in a more Thomistic, scholastic, Catholic structured sense, Catholic structured layout? And from the panel, there was dead silence. Nobody wanted to touch that question. And it turned into a ripple of laughter from the audience, and Professor Michael Cyrilla, very good man, he chimed in at one point and rescued the situation by saying, well, we could pray to St. Jude. And the audience laughed again, and he said, I'm a professor of Thomistic theology, and they never call me to help write their documents. So this is one of the problems with this Instrumentum Laboris, is that the document itself is inadequate, flawed, structured, and written really with an absence of the sense of the supernatural. Now, some of you might have heard about the 13 cardinals. It was supposed to be a private letter, but it was leaked and it was published, where there were 13 cardinals, some of them Vatican cardinals, who were complaining to Pope Francis about this Instrumentum Laboris. And I'll just read two of the things that they said about it. They said that the Instrumentum Laboris has sections that would benefit from substantial reflection and reworking. In other words, parts of it need rewriting. And it also said the Instrumentum Laboris, this is a crucial quote. Now, it's very windy here, but I hope this is getting through. The Instrumentum Laboris cannot adequately serve as a guiding text or the foundation of a final document. That's very strong language from cardinals. I'm going to read that again. The Instrumentum cannot adequately serve as a guiding text or the foundation of the final document. In other words, they're telling us, and they're telling the Holy Father, this is a flawed document. Now, I was just at a press conference from Voice of the Family, where they talked about the issue of sex education and the way that the Instrumentum Laboris does not adequately protect parents. It fails to say that the parent is the primary educator. It says, I think it's in number 68, that the parents cannot be the only educators. So I'm going from memory, so something along those lines. And there were some members of the press there, and they said, one of them said, in kind of an imperious manner. So are you saying that Pope Francis is not going to preserve the faith in this regard? And one of the men on the panel said, well, he was diplomatic about it. He said, well, I've read the Instrumental. I don't know the mind of the Pope, but I've read the Instrumental Laboris. And he left it at that, meaning that the Instrumental Laboris speaks for itself. The flaws speak for itself. And so I'll close this by talking about trust in authority, because the reporter's implied question is, why don't you trust Pope Francis? You're acting as if he can't be trusted. And that's wrong. We should always trust the Pope. And I would respond to that by saying that trust is a two-way street. Trust is a two-way street. You want to be considered trustworthy, you have to speak to the Catholic world and present Catholic documents in a manner that appear to be trustworthy. And even one writer I read who I've never seen criticize the Pope before, he said that if people do not trust Pope Francis on this point, then he only has himself to blame. So trustworthiness is a two-way street. Yes, we want to trust the authorities, but they have to act in a trustworthy manner and not give us documents that are fundamentally flawed, that even 13 cardinals said could not serve as a final document. For Fatima TV, I'm John Vennari. We'll see you next time.